This video will show you how to replace the side engine mount on a Cadillac CTS. You'll have one of these on either side of your engine, and the process will be the same. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Before we start removing any hardware, the first thing we have to do is apply support underneath the corner of our oil pan. I like to use a small chunk of wood, something nice and soft. Once you've applied support here, we can continue on with the hardware for the mount. Now, as far as the removal and installation of our side engine mount, it doesn't matter which side of the vehicle you're working on, the process will be the same. So with that said, if you were looking down at the bottom in this port, or up along the top in the very center, you're going to find that you have a 21mm mounting nut that needs to be removed. I'm going to start up along the top. Let's get our 21mm on there. Now, as we look up along the top here, right next to where our mounting nut was located, you're going to find that you have one small locating tab. Now, this is actually part of the mount, but it is something to take note of. That port that this tab goes up and through is where the tab will have to go up and through on the brand new mount as well. Now that we have that mounting nut out of place, before we make our way down to the lower hardware with our 21mm, let's look up along this upper area. Now there's a bracket here that must be removed from the engine and from the top of the mount. You're not going to have enough room to get this out of here unless you remove this bracket. With that said, you're going to find that you have several 15mm headed mounting bolts, but you also have one 13mm headed mounting bolt. Let's remove all of these. Now I'll make my way to the last mounting bolt. As I mentioned, this one on my application is a 13mm headed mounting bolt. At this point, we should be able to take hold of that upper bracket and we'll lift it up and out of position. Maybe stuck in place along the top of the mount. If it is, we can just pry it up and off of here. Just be careful not to let this fall and potentially hurt you. Let's make our way to the lower hardware next. Now that we have that out of position, let's make our way down to the lower hardware, down in this oval shaped port. 21mm mounting nut in here. Now we should be able to take hold of that mount and we'll carefully remove it through the side area here. If you need to, you could raise or lower the engine as necessary. You're going to find that you have a protective shield along the top. This is held in place with a small metal clip. You can typically grab hold of that with some pliers or cutters and just break it right off of there. I do not reuse that clip. So we can see the metal clip. I'm just using some cutters. I'll grab onto this. As I mentioned, I just want to break it off. We'll set that aside for disposal. Take hold of the metal shield. Slide it out of position. A quick inspection of that. It's a good idea to reuse this on your brand new mount. And there it is, friend. Now, prior to installation of our brand new mount, just a couple things to pay attention to. I always like to look at the top of my subframe area where that brand new mount will sit. We have the large circular port right here. This is for the stud of our mount. Right next to it, you're going to find that you have another port. If you were looking at the bottom of your mount, you're going to find that it does have a locating stud, and that locating stud would fit into that smaller port. Just a quick wipe here, close inspection. This looks good. Now it's time for installation of our brand new side engine mount. Looking at the new mount, we can see that we have a lower stud, and we also have that one locating tab. I just mentioned the locating tab fits into the perfect port on that subframe. With that said, we also have our small shield that would be up above. This portion of the shield would be approximately in the same area as where this stud is. It should really be facing towards the exhaust. That's really the purpose of it. With that said, let's go ahead and carefully get this mount in place. Now all I'm doing here is just twisting it and bringing it down until it's flush with my subframe. After that, I'm up along the top for my protective shield. That shield is going to slide right over that stud. As I mentioned, you should be able to pivot this any direction you need to. We're attempting to align it with our exhaust. So when the exhaust gets hot, it does not cause any damage to the rubber portion of our mount. Obviously, we can make any adjustments in the end here. Let's start down at the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and snug up the hardware there first. We have our lower hardware. Let's go ahead and start that on. We'll bottom it out. Now, as we attempt to snug this, we want to hold onto the mount so it does not vibrate too much on us here. Obviously, we'll be careful for any pinch points. Now that I have that bottomed out, I'm going to torque it to 59 foot-pounds. Now we can get this bracket in place. As you start bringing the upper bracket into place, you may find that you have to alter the height of your engine and transmission as necessary. Once you do have the bracket in the proper placement, we'll continue on to starting in all 4 of the mounting bolts. Once we get to snugging them and torquing them, you're going to find that the smaller bolt has a considerably lower torque specification. The smallest of the mounting bolts is the far forward lower corner mounting bolt. Okay, they're all started in. Now I'm just going to snug them prior to torquing any. Now we can torque these bolts. The 13mm headed mounting bolt will be 28 foot-pounds. The other 3 15mm headed mounting bolts will be 44 foot-pounds. If you find you have a hard time getting a torque wrench in here, just make sure they're nice and tight. Let's just have a quick look at the shield. We want to make sure it's properly adjusted so it's aligned with our exhaust. That's the whole point of this shield. Now at this point, we're going to lower the engine all the way down in the fully rested position. We can remove support from under here, and we can start on the upper hardware. Now it's time for our upper mounting nut. Let's start it on. Now the torque for this upper mounting nut is the same as the lower mounting nut, 59 foot-pounds, but it can be difficult to get a torque wrench in here. Just make sure it's nice and tight. Now since my torque wrench does not have a flexible head, I tightened it with my 1/2-inch drive ratchet and just made sure it was nice and tight. The shield should not move around. This is looking good. Okay friend, we finished our installation. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the process for one side is the exact same thing as the other side of the vehicle. Now, once you've completed this, the next thing you want to do is carefully make your way out from underneath the vehicle. You're going to start the vehicle, run it through all gears, and confirm you don't hear any odd noises coming from the engine. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.